The San Francisco 49ers are going to the NFC Championship for the third time in 4 years. The 49ers have been to half of the NFC Championship games over the past 12 years, and now San Francisco is back, trying to win its first Super Bowl since 1995. Kyle Shanahan is the best of the best, and I think a lot of people would argue that top to bottom, the 49ers have the most talented roster in the league. San Francisco had the best defense in the regular season and went 13-4. And all of that came while somehow losing both of their top quarterbacks to injury. Either way, it doesn't matter, because the 49ers are back in the NFC Championship game, hoping to break through and finally get the big win this century. The biggest story of the season for the San Francisco 49ers has been quarterback. The 49ers used some serious draft capital on Trey Lance. They took him third overall at the 2021 NFL Draft, and the plan was for him to take over as the starter this season. That led to a long offseason where everyone was wondering what happens to Jimmy Garoppolo, and what does his future even look like. Some people seem to forget that he did lead the 49ers to the NFC Championship in 3 of 3 seasons. Of course, San Francisco never won it all, and that would definitely leave a sour taste in everyone's mouth. I think he definitely ends up on a different roster if it weren't for a shoulder surgery in the offseason. It left a lot of questions, and it seemed like Garoppolo was fine staying in San Francisco. The two were able to come up with a contract restructure to keep him in San Fran, and it paid off because the Trey Lance era didn't last very long. He was the 49ers starter, but ended up going down with an ankle injury in week 2 that ultimately ended his season. That meant Garoppolo had to step in, and guess what? He was great. For a lot of teams, if your starting quarterback goes down, it's difficult or near impossible to continue to succeed. But that wasn't really the case for the 49ers. Garoppolo had been the starter, and he was still good enough to be the starter. But San Francisco wanted to chase the stars with a guy with talent like Trey Lance. Garoppolo was definitely good while he played, but then of course he went down with a foot injury in week 13 that landed him on injured reserve. Usually, if both of your top 2 quarterbacks go down, the team is in ruin and probably screwed. But don't tell Brock Purdy that. He was Mr. Irrelevant of the 2022 NFL Draft and was a complete afterthought, but safe to say he isn't anymore. Purdy went 5-0 to finish the regular season while throwing 13 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. He's already won his first 2 career postseason games and is yet to throw an interception ahead of the NFC Championship game. What the 49ers have been able to accomplish this season, despite the constant quarterback issues and having their top 2 quarterbacks go down, is impressive to say the least. And it's really a huge indication of just how good Kyle Shanahan and the rest of that 49ers roster is. Kyle Shanahan has long been one of the most brilliant offensive minds in the league, and that's been on full display this year. The way Brock Purdy has been able to seamlessly walk into a system and succeed the way he has is a huge indication of just how good Kyle Shanahan is, and it helps that he has one of the most talented rosters in football too. There's no doubt that the 49ers have some of the best skill position players in the league. I think you just have to start with Deebo Samuel and how valuable he is. He's been injury prone in his career, no one can really deny that, but when he is healthy, he is so explosive, and he completely changes an offense. He hasn't been used as a full-on running back at times like he was in the past, but he still has his fair share of rushes. I also think Brandon Ayuk is just so good. I think he'd likely be the most talented offensive player on over half of the teams in the league probably, but he's not even top 3 in San Francisco, and that's just a testament to how good they are. Regardless, Ayuk is fantastic and is a serious playmaker. George Kittle is arguably the best tight end in the league. I mean, it's either him or Travis Kelce, and it's really not a who do you think is better type of thing, but more of a what system do you run. Travis Kelce is an elite playmaker and just so good, but Kittle is an elite blocker as well and can be used better in the San Francisco system, so it really just depends. Kittle is a monster though, and it's pretty clear that he has some good rapport with Brock Purdy. Just in case the 49ers didn't have enough overwhelming talent on the offensive side of the ball, San Francisco traded for Christian McCaffrey ahead of the deadline, and boy has he made a massive impact. He had those back-to-back seasons where he struggled with injuries, but he's been good to go this year and has absolutely dominated. San Francisco was good before trading for McCaffrey, but he has just completely transformed the offense and helped it reach a new level of elite. I dare to argue that he's even been the most important part of that offense down the stretch this season. Even with all that talent, the best player on the 49ers offense is still Trent Williams. You can make the case that Trent Williams is the best player in football. I mean, nobody moves or bulldozes players like him. He was amazing in Washington, and since he's been traded to San Francisco, he's been consistently one of, if not the best player in the league. Even with how good the 49ers offense has been and how much talent they have on it, the defense has still been the driving force this season. Nick Bosa is one of the best players in the league. He had 18.5 sacks this season and is likely going to be the defensive player of the year. Fred Warner has been amazing as per usual. Watching him line up straight on with a wide receiver in the divisional round and actually being able to keep up with him was absolutely wild to watch. Warner is a physical freak and has been one of the best inside linebackers in the league for a while now. Really, the entire unit is just insane from top to bottom. Javon Kinlaw and Eric Armstead are amazing in between the tackles. Dre Greenlaw has been really impressive to me at times. Talanoa Hufanga has definitely been the biggest riser for the 49ers this season. I mean, a lot of the guys on that defense we expect to be good year in and year out, but Hufanga is suddenly one of the best safeties in the league in his second season in the pros after he was just a 5th round pick. There's a lot to love on the 49ers defense, and frankly on the team in general. The 49ers have been good all season long and ended up with the 2 seed. Their first playoff game came in the wild card against division rival Seattle. San Francisco beat the Seahawks both times they faced off in the regular season, and I was actually surprised with how good of a fight the Seahawks put up early. San Francisco actually trailed 17-16 going into the half, but then the 49ers just started steaming ahead. The second half was a disaster for Seattle. The 49ers absolutely dominated and ended up winning the game 41-23. That set up a much more difficult game versus Dallas in the divisional round. The Cowboys defense is relentless. Maybe not quite to the same point as the 49ers was this season, but you're still talking about 2 of the best defenses in the league. San Francisco picked off Dak Prescott twice and capitalized on his turnover issues that we've seen all season. Meanwhile, the 49ers offense did just enough. It definitely wasn't pretty from the 49ers offense. We saw what it can look like when a defensive front can get to the quarterback and make things hard on a rookie quarterback like Brock Purdy. But the 49ers did still escape with a 19-12 win to set up an NFC Championship bout versus the top-seeded Eagles. Before the playoffs, I said that I thought the 49ers would end up beating the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. But I do have to say that my thinking is kind of swayed a little bit. It was hard to watch that 49ers-Cowboys game and wonder how one of those teams was going to go out and beat the Eagles. Philadelphia is likely the only team left in the playoffs that just doesn't have a single hole. The Chiefs have a bad special teams and now a hurt Patrick Mahomes. The Bengals have a bad offensive line that's pretty damn banged up. The 49ers have an inexperienced rookie 7th round quarterback. And the Eagles, well, the Eagles have it all. And it really might just come down to how well Brock Purdy can play. Frankly, I do hope San Francisco can beat Philadelphia, but I just don't know. We're definitely in for a treat on Sunday for both the NFC and AFC Championship games. This is the true time of the year where champions show themselves, and it's up to the 49ers to do that on Sunday, and maybe this time, San Francisco can get it done in the Super Bowl.